All right. Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Rasulillah. Right, Jawad. Well, and any member of his team. I'm going to be providing you with a coming up later today Ramadan templates. They're going to be done on Photoshop. You'll have a square version and a story version. The square version takes its information from the story version. I'll show you how to set that up. It's a matter of once you export the story version schedule into a PNG using the quick export method. On this side, on the square version, you will just relink to the correct updated file for that day. Yeah, so that will mean we're not having to double up our work. So let's just run you through exactly what you got here. None of the information's on the side you need to tweak. The only one you need to deal with is the schedule group itself. In it, you have your 5 shows, or if you have the 4 shows, you have 4 shows. Most cases you'll have 4 shows. It's just that one odd scenario you might end up with a 5th show on like a Friday when there's an extra show on the schedule that you want people to pay attention to. If we go through each of the groups, they all have the same options, so you can turn on off whether a show is live, so make sure you get that right. In the event, like see with Juzama, you can edit the text layer. It has a second line, but obviously Juzama Quran competition is too long for one line, so that became a double line, so we don't need to put additional information. And then you got your time, so you put your time. PM is separated from the thing, so in the event that you're having to do like a 10 p.m, you will have to shift the PM across. I could have kept that part of the text there, but I didn't, so live with it. Finally, for each of them, want an image of something. It could be the image of the show. You could place a show image inside, maybe have part of it break out. Get creative, have some fun. Once you've built pieces of the show, we wouldn't have to do it again. You could just go to thing, and you can always save versions of your schedule. So coming up Ramadan, and call it the 1st of Ramadan, 2nd of Ramadan, 3rd of Ramadan. That way you can always go back and take anything that you've created before. I'm going to show you quickly how I would do a speaker. I prefer using images of speakers or personalities, because it just makes the whole post a bit more personal, and in the end all of our shows is interacting with people, so we want to do that, and it helps with the show's promotion, because people are like, oh, he's going to be on that show, oh, he's going to be in that show, oh, he's going to be that show. Some people are not particularly aware of whose name is whose, right? So I'll just put in information at Sisters Ramadan, so Sisters probably should have an apostrophe. With Naomi Roberts, so you can just edit those text. The images area is what I want to focus on the right hand side, which is the overflow, the image border, and the image mask. Primarily, you don't need to do anything with the image border. There is a border glow, so you can just switch that on and off. If you're not sure what that is, there's basically a glow set for all of them. For most shows, I'll keep it off. I actually wanted it on, like, if it's a super special show that just needs a bit of extra flair, you can put it on. If you think it looks good and it should be on all shows, then put it on all shows, but I don't recommend it. I recommend do it on like just the live charity appeal, have it on there, but I gave you the option to do whatever you want. So let's just go add a Sisters Ramadan. So we just want a picture of Naima B. Roberts, so just make sure you're searching on all your libraries, Naima, and here's a picture of her. And of course, if you're always building your libraries, then you'll have more of your own pictures, and if so, please do add me to those libraries, because I would like to have pictures too, So what we'll do, we're just going to take her from the image mask to the overflow, just so she's in front of that box, so I can just frame her up properly. So let's put her out. That looks fine. That looks great. That looks great. So we take a copy of her from the overflow section and drop it inside the mask. What that means is if we shut off the overlay, she's within there. And so what we're going to do is just mask out the parts of her that we don't want showing on the in the hexagon. So so we want all of this portion below, and so just check your brush tool. Now because we've got an image behind, we don't need to be careful. We can just be really ridiculous with our brush out. And if we just shut off the image mask, we see that we've chipped so much of her away, but because we've got the exact image behind, it doesn't matter. So that's a really easy way of just putting the person in front and behind. In the event of like what I did on Ustaz Hamza, I did get creative and just, you know, looked at his hand and had his hands come over, but that all depends on the posture of the person on your image. That's it. Now maybe Roberts. Now that's not a live show, so let's turn that off. Umar Suleiman's show is not a live show. Let's turn that off, and there we go. So I've got a schedule of 4 shows on this day, whatever day that is, I don't know. And I'm going to set it up for my square post. All you're going to do is select on the group layer schedule, right click it, and quick export as PNG. What that's going to do is open up a dialog box, give you the option to call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it over the schedule PNG. You could call it any files. You could make a whole bunch of shows and just call it whatever. The process, what we're going to do is not affected by that. But for my simplicity, I'm just going to call it scheduled. Now, just because this is called scheduled, that doesn't mean when you relink to file. Sorry, just go through that again. On the right hand side on our schedule PNG image, we're just going to on our smart object, we're going to relink to a file, and we can relink to any image in particular, and that will pop up. So we'll just undo that. So it wouldn't matter on the file name. The file name is irrelevant. It will relink to the image, but because this image is the same proportions, it should boom reposition itself. It'll update itself. So this is a schedule of 4, which kind of boxed itself down. I don't know if you remember early on we had a schedule of 5. So if I put schedule 5 on, and if I was to quick export that, and let's just call it, I'm going to call it schedule 5, and we'll, oops, I'll put that to my mouse. We'll link to file schedule 5. It's just going to shift itself. So this is kind of set for both 4 and 5. It's not too bothersome if they kind of seem like they're shifting in positions and not always holding that consistency. Let's go back to that. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Again, on the square post, we're not trying to always maintain the same vertical height of where the first show appears. But that's just easier, and now you're ready. So coming up later today, and you're ready. So you've got both shows. We'll switch that off for the day. Ready to go. And now it's a matter of just exporting the whole thing. And you're going to have to do that for every day. But once you get through, like, I think the first week, it should be a lot easier. The process isn't long. Once you get a handle of it, it's, you know, I would give max 5 to 10 minutes really. The challenge probably would be just the image that you put inside each of the hexagons. That's it. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and also stop